So we're jumping in with the Firestarter. A very interesting mech, one that is certainly specialized, a very specific role in Battletech, as many mechs are. But in that specialization, combined with the other weapons that it has, you can get into trouble very, very quickly if you're not careful. Easily forgetting that, hey, this is a light mech. So in the narrative, there's this idea that the Firestarter is there to burn stuff out, to leverage the strength of flamethrowers against multiple targets. And this could be against infantry and hardened targets. It could be against buildings. It could be scorched earth, certainly forests. So what we see is with the optional rules in Total Warfare, where you can destroy buildings and forests and certain aspects of terrain, you now have a mech that tactically can interact on two levels. It can damage mechs, it can damage vehicles, it can damage infantry, but at the same time, it can remove certain hexes, and it can interact and cause that to tactically pull into the game. And again, if you're playing with those rules, which I do encourage because it adds a layer to Battletech. And on a side note, we've explored this where Battletech is really awesome because you can customize it for the amount of time that you have to play. If you only have an hour or two, just do a lance and keep the rules simple. If you have more time, do combined arms. If you have even more time, do city fight, city tech, have interactive terrain. But jumping back to the Firestarter. So we've got multiple flamers, multiple medium lasers, multiple machine guns on a light mech. Now, these weapons outside of the lasers, the medium lasers, are very, very short-ranged. Short-ranged, light mech. Light mechs like to be running and gunning. They like to keep those modifiers up, not only in range, but also with hexes. So right away, when you deploy the Firestarter and utilize it, if you're going to be using the flamers and the machine guns, you are going to be at one hex away. That's fine if it's some terrain. Infantry, that could be a problem, right? Infantry travel in packs. Karnovs drop things off. Mechanized infantry get to that point. If you're engaging a lone stand of infantry, then that's not a problem. You're just going to zap them and remove them. But infantry want to work in clusters. Infantry want to work for the battle value 4, 5, or 6, right? Like an entire group of them. I remove one, that return fire, whether it's short-range missiles, whether it's lasers, whether it's LRM packs, and how it transfers to the mech, that could seriously cripple me, especially if I've taken a hit or two from an autocannon 10 or a large laser or one or two medium lasers and my armor's a little bit shaky. So there's this ability to get into trouble really, really fast. The mech feels like it's a medium mech, and that's where we get into danger. So you feel like, hey, I'm playing a medium mech with the weapons, but I have the armor of a light mech. Now, the Firestarter, I find, works well. Of course, you're going to burn terrain and do all that, but it works well in an aggressive lance. And by an aggressive lance, I mean not like some long-range stuff or some fire support stuff. A lance for whatever battle value, tonnage, that is going to push forward and get engaged with the opponent. It's going to lock up units. So my mechs are going to go toe-to-toe with your mechs. We're going to be engaging. Yes, I'm going to be running and gunning. Yes, I'm going to try and use cover. But we're locked in and we're firing. At that point, the Firestarter now has a little bit of pressure taken off it. Might still come under some fire, but it now has that pressure taken off, and maybe I can get rear armor. Maybe I can burn out some targets. Maybe I can attack some side armor and just put on a little bit more firepower. Or if I have a medium mech going against you and you're starting to go to internals, I can utilize that. So from that perspective, not that any mech is a solo mech, but certainly the Firestarter wants to work and wants to be part of a very close-in, aggressive group. Now, does it have a place in your collection? Absolutely. Absolutely. I have a Firestarter. I enjoy playing it from time to time. What I try to do is build a lance. Well, first of all, build a lance that I feel like playing. So it's going to have my favorite machines. It's going to have maybe what I'm feeling like in this moment. And I try to build a tactically solid lance. But then the battle value, whatever level of battle value we're playing at, I try to set a little bit aside. You know, and of course, what that's going to be depends on the overall battle value. And I like to take something experimental. I like to take something a little bit crazy. I would like to take a Firestarter and just see what happens, right? So this way I can play it, I can enjoy the miniature, I can enjoy the tactica, I can enjoy the lulls, but it's not the center of my force. So if I don't play it correctly, or it doesn't fit in, or I make a mistake, or things don't quite work out, it's not like, oh, I just lost both of my battle masters and now I'm in serious, serious trouble. Not that I want to lose any mech, because it's battle value, it's mission points, it's going to affect the initiative. But I find that is the best way to fit in with the Firestarter. And it's a fun mech. It's an interesting mech. But remember, looks like a medium, wants to behave like a medium, but it is a light mech.